Welcome. This is the wisdom of the Avadhut Gita. Ramana Maharshi was widely regarded to exemplify its teachings. Listen, reflect, and deeply meditate. Know yourself. This is Richard Clarke. Today I'll read from and comment on Chapter 2 of the Avadhut Gita, verses 7 and 8, about the indivisible oneness underlying all existence, and I'll provide an inquiry for each verse to deepen your experience. Verse 7, as softness is not perceived apart from soft objects, as sweetness is not known apart from honey, as bitterness is not known apart from the very bitter tasting neem tree leaves, as fluidity and coolness are of the nature of water, so the primordial form of matter called mahat, great, is no other than the self, Atman. As the rays of the sun do not differ from the sun, so matter does not differ from God. Verse 8, how can I or you be said of Brahman, which is more subtle than mahat, free from all attributes, greater than all, above the range of mind and emotion, without medium or limitation, Lord of the universe? It can neither be called static or dynamic. My comments. Let's explore these verses from the Avadhut Gita in the context of Ramana Maharshi's teachings. Ramana emphasized direct realization of the true self as the ultimate reality, and he taught self-inquiry as the means to realize your true nature. Let's look at the verses and provide an inquiry for each based on the context of Ramana Maharshi's teachings. Verse 7, as softness is not perceived apart from soft objects, as sweetness is not known apart from honey, as bitterness is not known apart from the very bitter tasting neem tree leaves, as fluidity and coolness are of the nature of water, so the primordial form of matter called mahat, great, is no other than the self, Atman. As the rays of the sun differ not from the sun, so matter does not differ from God. Verse 7 uses analogies to illustrate the non-dual nature of reality, emphasizing that everything derives its nature from the same source. Ramana's teaching expressed the principle of non-duality, that the external world and the inner self are not separate entities, but are the same ultimate reality, and that reality is your true self. The analogies of softness, sweetness, and bitterness highlight these qualities that are only perceived in relation to specific objects, like soft objects, honey, and neem leaves. Similarly, attributes of water are fluidity and coolness. This shows that qualities rise in relation to their corresponding objects, and those objects are inseparable from the qualities attributed to them. The verse suggests that the world of matter is not separate from absolute being, just as the qualities are not separate from their objects. The primordial form of matter called mahat is a reference to the cosmic awareness or cosmic mind. The verse states that this cosmic consciousness is none other than the self, Atman, yourself, the only self there is, laying out the unity of all existence. Inquire, who is the perceiver? Who is the knower of softness, sweetness, and bitterness? Can you experience these qualities without an object to which they are attributed? Verse 8, how can I or you be said of Brahman, which is more subtle than mahat, free from all attributes, greater than all, above the range of mind and emotion, without medium or limitations, Lord of the universe? It can neither be called static or dynamic. This verse explores the nature of Brahman, the vast absolute, the ultimate reality. Brahman transcends all dualities and categories. Ramana emphasizes transcending the limitations of individual identity and recognizing the unchanging essence that underlies all apparent distinctions. You transcend by the direct knowledge that these limitations were never real to begin with, just illusions built from assumptions. Verse 8 emphasizes Brahman's formless and attributeless nature. Ramana directs you to inquire into the source of your I thought, leading you to the realization that your true nature is beyond any conceptual description. The verse concludes by stating that Brahman cannot be categorized as static or dynamic. It is of a nature that transcends both, non-dual. Ramana Maharshi taught that the self is beyond both the changing and the unchanging, urging you to abide in the unchanging awareness that transcends all states. Inquire, reflect on the description of Brahman as beyond the range of mind and emotion. How can the concepts of I or you apply to something beyond the realm of personal identity and emotions? In both these verses, the themes of non-duality, the interconnectedness of all existence, and the transcendent nature of reality align with Ramana Maharshi's teachings on self-inquiry and the direct realization of your true nature. The self-inquiry provided can be used as contemplative tools to delve even deeper into these profound concepts and explore them as a part of your own practice. These verses underscore the profound truth that the interconnected universe and the attributeless transcendent nature of Brahman converge to reveal the indivisible oneness underlying all existence, while simultaneously highlighting the inadequacy of language and concepts to encapsulate this ultimate reality. These self-inquiries encourage you to go beyond intellectual understanding and directly explore the nature of your own consciousness. By contemplating these questions deeply and sincerely, you can come to insights that align with Ramana Maharshi's teachings and lead you closer to the realization of your true self. So inquire, know yourself, and be always free and at peace. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this Ramana Maharshi video, subscribe, like, and send me a comment.